thatmovieguyUK.
You can always rely on Letterboxd to give you your next movie kick. And a few weeks ago, I was going through it, looking at people's different logs, and I noticed a film called Swallow. I started seeing that a lot of people giving it very high-ended ratings, and I was like, how have I not heard about this film? And it's a great shame that it's taken me till now to find out about this film, but at the same time, I'm eternally grateful for actually being able to find it. And obviously I rented it, and that's why we're here. Swallow follows the story of Hunter. She is a newly pregnant housewife, and she finds herself increasingly compelled to consume dangerous objects. As her husband and his family tighten their control over her life, she must confront the dark secrets behind her obsession. Swallow's idyllic setting is overshadowed by repression and oppression. Hunter's life is caked in domestic bliss, and while the aesthetic seems perfect, her inner demons are not agreeing with this life of solitude that she's leading. Her main connection daily seems to be her husband's mother and her husband when he's back from work. And she leads a very mundane existence where she can redecorate the house if she wishes, but it's not what Hunter wants. It's not until this compulsion to start swallowing these dangerous objects the film then unwinds into a more dark and sinister kind of film. We are dealing with Hunter's inner demons and how she's trying to cope with her life, but at the same time, something has arisen from the closet of her past, and now it's confronting her. And while the film unfolds, we then see what Hunter is going through, and eventually this dark compulsion becomes her salvation because it wakes her up, and it actually inspires her to confront her past and potentially build a new one for herself. Mirabella-Davis, who's the director of this film, has paced this film beautifully. It really takes its time, it broods quite a bit. You don't necessarily know where you're going to go next within Swallow, but that's the sheer joy of it. It's nice not to know what is going to happen next. It's not exactly body horror, but it is shocking at times what you see. It can be very crude, it can be very uneasy to see, especially when she is eating these items. It does get a bit disgusting, and you actually get a little gag reflex yourself. Caitlin Arizmendi's cinematography for Swallow is what creates this high tier of thriller / psychological thriller / domestic story. Her center framing is perfect. There is a very nuanced way when Hunter is in the middle of the shot and there is nothing around her. It really solidifies solitude and depression. But at the same time, there is a glimmer of hope once she moves this framing and seeks it outside to this idyllic setting with the big windows and mirrors. You see, that's the getaway for Hunter, and I just couldn't get my mind out of how she's taken so much from this great source material and then pushed it hard on the screen. Between her cinematography and Carlo's direction, they really have perfected the way that Swallow is represented. Another technique I really enjoyed from it is this creeping zoom that she uses. And these are very classic types of cinematography, but she creates it in a way that is actually refreshing. And when it creeps, it creates more tension. You don't always need the score to build this up, but once that camera goes towards Hunter's mouth and you see the item, you know what's going to happen, but it still creeps you out. And this is how the whole of Swallow is. It is beautifully made, and there is such a great craftsmanship to this film. You cannot do nothing but appreciate it. Halle Bennett, who plays Hunter, is obviously the epicenter of this film, and with her eyes alone, you can feel what Hunter is going through, and there is such pain in those eyes, there is such confusion, there is such a human element to this film. You don't see her as an actress, you feel Hunter within her. And I feel like this isolation and the way that we do repress our inner thoughts sometimes is really evoked hard within this whole performance. And the thing about Harvey Bennett's face also, it's very hollow at times, so you don't always know what she's actually feeling. But until you see that zoom of the eyes, you just don't necessarily know what's going through her mind. And I find the whole culmination of Swallow to be a fantastic film and one of the best films I have seen in 2020 so far. Have you seen Swallow? Please let me know if you have and what you actually think of it. I am always intrigued to know what you guys are watching. Hello new subscribers, hello old subscribers. Please keep sharing the love and just do what you want, really. If you're watching new movies, if you're watching old movies, please let me know what you are actually doing right now, because I would love to hear what kind of films you're going into. I'm actually finally going through John Cassavetes' filmography, and I started with The Killing of a Chinese Bookie, which I really liked. My log for it is on my letterboxd, so all that details is below. Maybe I'll do a retrospective of his career, I don't really know yet, but we will see if I get the time to do that. But next up will be my re-review of Beau Travail, even though I promised it before Swallow, but Swallow came and then I was like, I have to talk about this movie. So Beau Travail is going to be next, and I'm still trying to build up some kind of calendar of films I would like to review as they're coming out. It's very difficult to know what studios are releasing on VOD right now. Some are a bit more straightforward than others, but I will keep you posted nonetheless. So I'll leave it at that. And as we normally say on this channel, diolch, dank, obrigado, merci beaucoup, arigato, dakshin, bishin, all the shuns. And obviously, never change.